So, judging by what I said about Jokic, I know no one's going to really pay attention when I say this, but Steph Curry totally deserved to be a unanimous MVP. He shouldn't have been the first unanimous MVP, and that's why Jokic won't win MVP. Does that make sense? Let me explain it. Guys, I'm Gravity here, and this is I'm Just Saying. In this video, what I'm gonna go through is basically I have two main topics that I wanted to cover, and one of them is on the back of the last video I did. I did a video saying the top 5 not going, MVPs who weren't gonna get the MVP award, and I put 2 of them up on YouTube Shorts, and they ended up getting some replies, which I thought were pretty interesting replies. And that's kind of why I'm starting this whole channel, is because I want people to reply, talk back, give me your opinions. I'm not a genius. I'm probably gonna be wrong about all of this stuff, to be real. But this is just how I feel about it. This is my opinion. This is all subjective. So in any case, what I wanted to do though first was go through the one thesis that I have about why Jokic isn't going to be MVP. And the thing is it has nothing to do with Jokic. It has nothing to do with whether he deserves it or not. It has everything to do with the narrative and everything subjective behind it. And the only way I can think of to illustrate that is on this segment of Fight Me, Steph Curry shouldn't have been the first unanimous MVP. So let me go ahead and get to my notes real quick just to be sure that I say this the way I want to. All right, so in any case, now, here we go. So, Steph was a deserving unanimous MVP, 100%. He should have gotten a unanimous MVP, and for those who don't think so, you're doing revisionist history based on what happened after the fact, but he definitely deserved it at the time. He literally changed the game. One of my favorite players in what I would consider now the LeBron and Steph Curry era. I wouldn't just call it the LeBron era, I call it LeBron and Steph Curry. And basically because there was this battle after Kobe was no longer the best player when LeBron was the best, and then Curry came along, then Kevin Durant, then Curry, then LeBron again, and it just goes back and forth. So I think that given what Curry has done, it shouldn't just be LeBron's era, it should be Curry's era as well, but I guess that's gonna lead to a problem anyway. Now, the reason why I'm using this example to explain why Jokic won't be MVP this year, or the others that I was saying in that top 5 list, is because he shouldn't have been the first unanimous MVP, is my point. And that is because you mean to tell me when Jordan was taking home all those MVPs that he shouldn't have gotten unanimous one time? You mean to tell me Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't deserve a unanimous MVP one time? Bird, Magic, name the league MVPs, and you tell me LeBron, name the MVPs, and you mean to tell me not one of them before Steph Curry deserved to have a unanimous MVP? My entire point behind this being the actual explanation why I thought what I thought when I said those top 5 who weren't going to be MVPs is that it's never objective. It's always subjective based on the definition of what an MVP is, period. And on top of the fact that a lot of the people who are voting may have some kind of, I won't say intentional bias, or they're looking to not vote for another person. However, if you're a beat writer and you're with Damian Lillard all the time, right? And you see how hard he works. And he's also, nice guy to you. You guys aren't best friends, but he's good. He always gives you a good quote. And you will unintentionally lean more towards being on his side because you see the work he puts in. And then you go to Steph Curry and you're like, well, does Steph Curry really work that hard? No, he works just as hard, but you don't see it because you're the beat writer for the Portland Trailblazers, and you have a more than professional relationship you have a professional relationship with Damian Lillard, but you see it. It's different when you see things, when it actually becomes visual to you. So you're gonna be a little bit biased. Now there's gonna be other reasons why people are biased, but point of fact, that's one of the reasons, or one of the things that can lead to biases, is that, okay, well, I have a relationship with this person, or I don't like that person. That's why you don't get a unanimous MVP, because at the end of the day, it's humans voting on an award. And as many of you who have said oh, it's a regular season award, If that were the case, then all these subjective measures would not matter. People just go straight up on, all right, based on blah, 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 blah stats, you were the best defensive player and you were the best offensive player. Together, you are the MVP or whatever, however they would do it objectively. But because of the way MVP is just put out there, most valuable player, and people can't even decide what valuable means. Like, for example, you tell me outright right now, you tell me, but think to yourself when I say this question, what is an MVP? Like, what is an MVP? Don't say a player, give me a definition. And as you say your definition to yourself, I guarantee you someone else watching this video has a different definition and another person has a different definition. Is it the best player on the best team? Is it the player that if you remove him from the team, that team goes from a contender to bottom of the barrel, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many different like definitions that you can have for MVP. So when you can introduce subjective measures, when you can say valuable, subjective, especially in this context of a team sport, what do you consider to be most important? Some people would say, for example, some people would say like defense is just as important as offense. So I would vote Giannis because Giannis is one of the best defensive players and one of the best offensive players, for example. Or, offense is more important than defense. And Jokic, he makes an entire team go with his passing and his scoring. He's so incredible. And. Like, you can make an argument for just about anybody in that like top 5, top 10 players in the league situation, right? So Steph being a unanimous MVP is outright the perfect example of the first unanimous MVP is outright the reason why you can't just say, oh, this is just a regular season award, or he deserves, like you can't even say the word deserves because deserve has nothing to do with it. It's voters who are human and not trying to cast any aspersions on them, but it's voters who are human who are just, they're not going to have objective means to measure who their MVP is in the discussion. So when you have other elements like, oh, he's doing great this season, but then this little bug in the back of your head is like, but I voted for him the last 2 years and he didn't get, oh, by the way, someone caught me on one. He did make it to the second round the time before last year. And then last year he made it to the not second round. So yeah, you caught me. Anyway, so like, if that is the case, if they are able to introduce these subjective like measures into their thought process about MVP, then they are going to have their opinions colored by what they've seen in the past and not be able to just say it in that context. Another example I just thought of off my head. This is the thing I never understood about like trials and stuff. When they have a jury and the defendant says like, oh, well, you didn't say that about this murder weapon that was found in the car. And then the prosecutor's like, objection, that's not supposed to be admissible, da da da. And the judge is like, sustained. Jury, please strike that last comment and do not take that in consideration. What? You can't tell people not to think about the thing that they just saw or the thing that they just heard or the thing that's been built up for a while. So as long as the voters are human, and honestly, I mean, even if they weren't human, it's still kind of hard to measure, then it's going to have a lot of subjective measures, which means that, unfortunately, what you do in the past, or voter fatigue for that matter, look at Giannis. Voter fatigue for that matter, look at LeBron, look at Jordan. Sorry, I could just name them all. Voter fatigue is going to matter. So, 2 times. Second round is the best you got out of those 2 times. People are going to be tired for voting for him. Will he deserve it? Probably. He probably will. Him and 5 other players in the league, but only one of them can get it. And when that's the case, it's going to come down to subjective measures. So, fight me on that if you want to. Any case, let me go ahead and move on to the last topic I'm going to talk about. And this is a topic I always think I'm only going to take like 5 minutes. It always ends up being longer. And this last topic is, I don't know. Kyrie, and honestly, it's not, I don't know. Fight me. Kyrie does nothing for the Lakers. I don't understand this whole thought process of bring him to the team and he's going to do something for the Lakers. And it's not even like an anti-Kyrie thing because honestly, watching him is incredible. Like he is, and I am a Lakers fan, by the way, so I can just go ahead and full disclosure, 100% Lakers fan. And one day I'll tell the story of how I became a Lakers fan as a guy from Auburn, Alabama who lives in Switzerland now. It's a weird story. But Kyrie's incredible. He's absolutely incredible to watch. He's a wizard with the ball. Best handles that I've seen. I can't go historically and go all the way back to dudes who played decades ago, but given my basketball experience of the last 20, 30 years, best guy I've seen with the ball, right? However, one, I'm so sick of the ifs. If, AD is healthy, if Kyrie plays, if LeBron can do this, that, and the third, if my grandmother had, then she'd be my grandfather. Like, there's so many ifs, and I can only go based on what I have seen. Kyrie, for all intents and purposes, it seems like every season lately since he's left the Cavs, there's been some kind of issue that prevents him from playing for some kind of period of time, whether that be injury or his own personal beliefs and whatever he's doing, not even getting into it. However, he doesn't play full seasons. AD has not played a full season. The time he won the championship was when the Lakers were in the bubble. But before that bubble, if you guys remember, there was, I don't know how long of a shutdown when there was nobody playing and giving all the players like another month to just heal and recover. AD and LeBron had a chance to heal and recover in the middle of the season so they could jump into the bubble fresh. And if I get a fresh AD in the playoffs, woohoo, we're going to go far. However, he can't last through the whole season, and so he doesn't make it through to the playoffs. So, like, getting Kyrie on top of it, even if you trade Westbrook away, whatever you want to do with Westbrook, is not going to make a difference because all you hear, everything you hear is, well, if those three can get on the court together, they won't. They won't get on the court together because there's going to be an injury. I wish there wasn't, and I'm not wishing that on anybody. However, there's going to be something that gets in the way to where all three of them will not be on the court for more than like 20 games. That's just going to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of it, AD gets injured, which he does every season. Then Kyrie, let's just say it's like an injury, but who knows what it is. Then LeBron has to carry a bunch of who's on the rest of this team? Who do the rest of the guys on the team? Okay, then LeBron gets injured because he's overworked from playing, 40 minutes for 60 games straight. Like it's a straw, it's a house of cards, basically. And it doesn't sustain, it doesn't hold up to weight. A lot of ifs. And God knows, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that, whatever it takes, whether we keep Westbrook or whether the Lakers keep Westbrook or whether they trade for Kyrie in some weird package that the Nets should not accept, no matter what the case may be, if they are on a team together, I have a hard time believing that all three of them are going to stay healthy for an entire season through to the finals. I do. LeBron is getting up there in age. He's damn near 40. AD never stays healthy. And Kyrie is Kyrie. That's the best way I can put it. So, do I have much faith in that? Not really. So, that is going to do it for this edition of I'm Just Saying. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching so much. Please like, subscribe. If you don't like it, hit subscribe and hit dislike. I'm okay with that as well. And I'll see you next time.